G'day peeps, welcome back to the channel. Apologies for the really bad accent, but what we're looking at today is, I'm going to have to move the box about to get it in, Italeri 1/24 scale Australian truck. Yeah, not the most sort of accurate term, not like Scania blah 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 whatever. It says Australian truck, but hey, Bretland effect. I thought, yeah, trucks are kind of cool if there's one I can find that I like the look of, and yeah, this is my kind of truck. So without further ado, let's have a looky through the box. Just as I say, it's a sizable box. There's a lot of plastic in here, so I'm probably going to try and scoot through this fairly rapidly if I can get the box lid off. Oh, it's one of them German ones again. It's good and tight. Oh, there we go. Right, let's check the instructions out of the way for now. Where can they go? They can go over there. Along with the totally unprotected decal sheet, which I probably won't use. And then let's just grab all the plastic and chuck it into the lid. The first thing we come to is the tyres, and there's quite a lot of them. They do have sizes and all that kind of stuff on the outside, tube type. They don't have a manufacturer, it's just radial. But we don't have a seam down the middle of them at all. Can't see it on any of them. Maybe a slight one on the inside edge, but hey, that's never going to be seen. Do have a good tread pattern, as I say, nicely detailed, and we got what, 4, 5, 6, 10 of them. It shows you what we're getting, really, doesn't it? Then we go with the first sheet of chrome parts. Now I'm still undecided how I'm going to build this, whether I'm going to do it clean shiny show truck out of the box looking all nice and happy and healthy and whatever, or whether I'm going to strip all the chrome and make it look manky and nasty and horrible with a sex dungeon in the back. But yeah, the chrome doesn't look too bad actually. It's pretty good, and it's a bit brighter than I would probably like. Whether it warrants completely stripping, if you're doing the thing as a show truck, as it were, clean, shiny, glossy, lovely, then yeah, it'll work for you. Just might need something like a Molotov chrome pen to touch up where you've cut it off the sprue and sanded it. But otherwise it all looks pretty good. There's no obvious nastiness. Details have remained relatively crisp through the layer of chrome or vacuum metallization. Ooh, that's a much nicer colour on the back, especially on the inside of the fuel drum. That's that kind of finish is more appealing to me, that kind of colouring. So I've got a funny feeling these might be seeing a bleach bath. Although it's going to take a heck of a lot of bleach and a rather sizable container, especially if I want to do the entire sprue. Right, and we have our second chrome sprue, which again is probably going to glare out or white out the camera. If anything, this one's even shinier than the last one. So we have our outer wheels, grills, oil, fuel, air tanks, whatever they are, exhaust stacks. They would definitely need a wash. Is the as you'd expect with something like an Italeri, they're not going to be moulded with all the holes open, and I'm not going to sit there and drill those out, so that would take forever and it would just pee me off. So it'd be either a black oil wash or a black oil rub. Basically just smear it all over the black oil and wipe it all back off again and just leave it in the recesses. Some of the bits on here are starting to look a bit fluffy and a bit soft. Yeah, a little horse emblem, I'm guessing for the bonnet, don't look too bad. But it's one of those things. You've got plastic, then there's probably a layer of gloss lacquer over the top of it. Let's just scrape some off and have a look. And then you've got the layer of vacuum metallized aluminium over the top of that. No, it does just look like plastic with metal over the top, so hopefully it won't be as bad as some of the things I've built. Was it the AMT Batmobile? The chrome on that was horrific. The layer of the gloss lacquer they'd put on it was so thick that it basically obliterated all the detail. And it also meant that the bleach wouldn't get the bloody chrome off either. So yeah, that's one model that got consigned to the back of the shelf. Now, the sprues aren't individually bagged, which is a bit of a bummer, but at least it saves me having to open about 300 different bags. So I'm going to start with the first one, which is the grey one. Smack the camera about again. Which appears to be mostly interior detail, the dashboard, the floor. Or was that the headliner? Probably the headliner. The step, back wall, bed. Although I have never seen a trucker who puts their sheet that neatly across their bed. It's going to be a bundled up duvet in the corner, would be more accurate. Again, not the most highly of detailed parts, but hey, again, how much are you going to actually be able to see of the interior of the cab, especially the back section, especially once you've got all the guards and meshes etc over the windows to stop turkey vultures coming in and God knows what else. I'm guessing these are the back, either the backs of wheels or ones that won't get seen, as they decided not to chrome this sprue for some reason and mould it in silver plastic. Again, if I strip the chrome off that won't be a problem, but otherwise I'm going to have to prime it and then spray it with as close to a chrome colour as I can and hope it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. And we do have some minor flashy bits on these. Again, nothing as bad as I've seen in some cases. I mean, it's a bit around the edge of there, and all the tops of the part they're a bit fluffy, but and on that side as well. But, easy enough to clean up. It's not a case of it's at that point where you had to figure out where the part ends and the flash starts, which I've had in a couple of kits. More tanks and stuff in a dark green plastic. Again, not highly detailed, but enough. Lights, whatever that fluffy bit. Yeah. Bit of what looked like toilet roll or tissue paper in there. Yeah. So I think I've kind of got a good feel for this. Is that It's going to look quite impressive when you build it because of just the sheer size of it. But detail wise it's not going to be that great. He says then getting to the engine parts, that's one heck of an engine, isn't it? That's what you call an engine block. Well, engine and gearbox all in one, I guess. Yeah, so it's that level below. I mean, things like the IBG Marmon Harrington or a mini art tank with an interior, that kind of thing, that level of crispness of detail and accuracy, etc., it just isn't here. And we've got flashy bits sticking up. Yeah, it's a bit softly moulded, a bit vague in places. Some bits look quite nice, others not so much. Could be a bit of a woolly fit. You know, it'll fit, but might need a bit of fettling or persuading to fit where you want it to fit and how you want it to fit. And we've got at least an attempt at some detail on the back of the fifth wheel, but it's so full of eject spin marks and it's not going to be visible anyway. So kind of a waste of their time doing that one. And then the final bag of bits is a monster. As you may have guessed, this one's got the body parts and I'm guessing the chassis rails as well. Which is where we'll get a clue just how big this lump is going to be. Right, so let's go back to black, shall we? Let's have an Amy Winehouse moment. Raise a glass or 12 to her. So this is, yeah, chassis rails are longer than the A4 cutting mat, so there we go. It's a big old lump. We have the leaf springs, the airbags, base for the fifth wheel. Excuse me. I'd say bits of it do look really quite nice and other bits just fall a bit flat. And the leaf springs here look really quite good. You know, the bolts are actually hexagonal, but then you get other bits that just aren't as well moulded. But then it's Italeri, as I said. We're not talking Tamiya mini art trumpeter. We're talking Italeri. So generally, if it actually fits together, they're doing rather well. But I do hear that the truck kits do tend to go together quite well. So whether that's just, and how do I not make this sound demeaning or nasty, it seems that a lot of car or auto modelers are used to accepting a certain level of build, either quality or detail, in comparison to, say, armour or plane modelers, where we expect more. So what a general car modeler might see as a good kit, someone who's used to sort of 1,000+ part tank kits will look at it and go, oh my god, that's horrible. You know, that kind of thing. Is not knocking those people who build those. I've seen some people get some really nice results out of kits I would probably have thrown in the bin. Again, yeah, so we've got some of the bodywork parts. As you can see, they're just huge. There's some scuff marks on the surfaces that are going to need dealing with before we even try and prime it. Unless, of course, we do it a bit manky and ropey, in which case we can get away with leaving them. Plenty of ejector pins all over the insides. Yay! That's going to be fun sanding those out and filling them. Well, it all depends on whether they're visible or not, and as you build it you get more of an idea which parts will and won't be visible. And then the final placky sprue, or coloured plastic sprue. We've got the clear parts as well, obviously. Which is the rest of the bodywork. So doors, front end of the windscreen surround, bonnet, which I'm guessing flips up to show the engine. It might not. And again, yeah, similar. We've got some interesting sink marks in there, which are going to be an absolute asshat to fill, because as soon as you try and sand that down, he's going to lose all the details. And again, ejector pin central on the inside, although whether they're visible or not is another matter. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be well detailed or just badly moulded. Again, it's Italeri, so I mean, it's a fairly big, impressive kit. I don't think it's one of the newer ones. It's probably a good few years old, to be honest. So, no, is this as good as it's going to get from Italeri? Quite possibly, unless they start reboxing someone else's. Then we get the clear parts, which will keep hold of the bag. Ooh, smack the camera about again. Are actually, well, they're not overly thick. They are pretty clear, with a couple of, oh, excuse me, scuff marks on that one and a bit of a sink mark on that one. There's absolutely nothing you can do about sink marks in clear parts. But yeah, they'll do the job, I guess. Quite what that is, I don't know. Is that supposed to be the grille that goes around the front of the windscreen? Which on the box art is chrome and black. Yeah, right. Is it smooth that side? And it's raised detail that side. So quite how they want you to pick out the black lines from the mesh on that, I have no idea. I mean, I might be able to paint quite small and delicate, but doing that, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. Unless I do reverse, and yeah, that's not going to work, is it? Fill the holes with black. Nah. So we might have to leave that bit off, because it probably just isn't going to work. Decal wise, they're Italeri decals, so they'll go on, they'll stick down, and they'll be okay. Thick as all hell. Oh, and you can even feel the ridge where it's a dual colour, so it's been green and the yellow over the top of the green. You can even feel the ridge where the yellow is. But as I said, I probably won't use. Might use that, as I don't think the actual detail was moulded into the dash. And I might use like the Western Star logos and the road train. That's about it. Doubt I'll bother with the swirly green stuff. Just getting that to all line up is going to be a pig. Then the rather lengthy instruction. Well, it's actually not that lengthy. It's just a large instruction manual. Again, another one of these gatefoldy arrangements, which I really don't like. You only have to open it almost all the way up before you get to step one, because we've got the sprue maps. And yeah, it's drill loads of holes, stick those bits together, stick more bits together, stick the engine together. It's not the most technical or complicated of kits. The hard part is probably going to be making it all fit together properly. I certainly wouldn't be putting the wheels on this early in the build. And I certainly wouldn't be putting like the tanks on before I painted and weathered the rest of it. It's going to be one of those ones where you have to take your time on. Now that looks like the bed section is a separate section at the back of the cab. Yeah, the cab does, or the engine does hinge forwards, or the bonnet, sorry, not the engine. So we got the front of the cab and all the chromey bits. 329G, what is G sprue? Is the clear parts, yeah. Hang on. Yeah, it is that clear part. That's going to be interesting trying to get that to look okay. Might just leave it off because it'll probably look cheesy as hell. Yeah, then we get the driver's bunk section goes on the back. Does have a couple of windows in, so you should be able to see it. If they are windows, I don't think they are. So the only way to see into that section is through that tiny little hole there in the back of the cab. So yeah, I wouldn't worry overly about detailing that up. And somewhere on here it's probably going to tell us a call out or where the decals go. Or does it just say like there, decal, and then point at the model, which is really, really unhelpful. Yeah, there's no actual decal call out on the instructions, so that's really helpful. You got to rely on the box art to tell you where to put the decals if you wanted to do it like that. Doubt I will be. I think mine's going to be a murderer's truck. It's not going to be happy and shiny and glossy and chromy. It's going to be a bit manky and monkey and rusty and horrible. Ooh, pardon me. Bit windy today, I do apologise. So, Italeri's 1/24 Australian truck. Would I recommend it? With the name on the box, no. And looking through the box, I wouldn't say it would be a great build. And it'll probably just about fit together, and there'll be some filling and faffing about and a lot of making things right, as it were, to get it to go together nicely. But you'll end up with something that looks like a truck at the end of it anyway. So, well, I think I got this from Amazon. It was about 35 quid, so it's probably one of the older ones, as I said. Just looking to see if there's a date on the box, which would be helpful. There isn't. There isn't one on the instructions either. No dates, no nothing. So if you want to know when it was released, check scale. Not scale model. Scale mates, that's it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the review and a bit of waffle. Have fun. Peace out. Rock on. Throw another shrimp on the barbie, and bye bye.